Welcome. In today's tutorial, we're going to be going over how to approve your timesheets using the eTime clock or web clock as it's known. Once you go to the link that you've been given for this, you're going to be presented with numbers to be able to enter your badge ID. We're just going to click on hours. You may or may not need to enter a PIN after this screen. This particular employee is not set up to have a PIN entry required after their badge ID. So I'm going to click the check mark, and that's going to bring me to my eTime clock. Now yours might look different from this depending on the options that have been selected for you. Some people may not have the lunches and only start and end. Some people may not have PTO request. Some people may not have start, end, lunch leave, or PTO request at all. So it depends on what options you've been given as to what it's going to look like when you log in. Now, for those that are only using this to approve timesheets, it will look something like this when you log in. And this is my current pay period. I cannot approve a pay period that is currently ongoing. In other words, I still have days left to work. So up here, we're going to click this down. We're going to go back to the last pay period. Since I'm in the last pay period, my approve button does show up because this pay period is complete. No one's clocking in and out of this. Our date is past the 13th, so this is a complete pay period. Now, I've got a total here and a week 1. Depending on your pay periods, you may have a week 2 and or a week 3. And all that is a separation of what you worked during that specific week. In here, my total paid hours is 42. And of that, I worked 42. I didn't take any time off, such as PTO, holiday, vacation, or things like that. If I did, those hours accumulatively would be listed here. And below this, I would have each item that I had taken off, such as sick, PTO, vacation, holiday, and next to it in the column here would be the amount of hours that I took off for those particular instances. My unpaid would be things like lunches, absences, any unpaid time that may be entered into my time card, such as leave without pay, no call, no show, anything like that. That's not a paid item. The dollars is not the pay rate times hours. But if your company does things like bonus, commission, tip, reimbursement, things like that, where they're entering a dollar amount to your time card, that is going to be the total of the dollar amounts that were entered into your time card. Over here on our total, for this particular scenario, is the same as week 1 because that's all there is. If you had week 2 or 3, again, it's only going to show you for that individual week what you did and what you're being paid for, but your total is going to be for the entire pay period. So if this looks okay to you, your notes, I see my punch type E up here. This means edited. For whatever reason, my punch 1 or both were edited or created or modified by a supervisor. Typically, you're going to have a note over here as to why they had it. It might say something like forgot to clock in, forgot to clock out, any number of reasons why a supervisor would need to go in and modify a time for you. Down here we see C, and this is a closed punch. That means it came directly from you from the time clock with no edits made in this. You might also see something like PP for personal paid, H for holiday, AB for absent, different pay types like that will kind of alert you as to what it is. But again, your hours and what they are going to be listed down below for you to be able to see them as well. So if everything in here looks good, this is what you're expecting. The totals match your personal totals that you've kept track of. Then we can go ahead and approve it. Do not approve this until you're confident that these are the hours that you worked. Once you're confident, you can go ahead and select approve, and then we'll have an attestation block that we need to agree to. Something along the lines of this, although it could be different for any particular type of user. But basically, you're saying, yes, this is my time that I worked. I got my meal breaks. And if I didn't, then those were taken care of accordingly, and I've had no unreported injuries. So at that time, I can go ahead and click OK because this attestation is true based on the time card that I'm approving. So I go ahead and click OK. Pay period resolved successfully. I'm done. At this point, I move on. As soon as the administrator sees that I've approved and they have approved it, my ability to revert this will go away. But if for any reason I'm looking through here and thinking, oh, there should be something else for the 11th that's not here, you can simply click to revert. And again, as long as administrator has not approved your card or a supervisor, depending on your company structure, you'll be able to revert it at some point. But once they have approved, you'll lose that ability. You would need to go to them directly so that it could be, reverted back, the corrections made. Then when you're satisfied, you would come back here and approve. Then your supervisor and or admin can approve on their end. This is all that we have for the approvals. Pretty easy as far as that's concerned. If you have any questions, please reach out to your supervisor or payroll administrator. Thank you for watching.